don't care now. You just rather watch me fall. From a quarter mile, I can see you at the call. Think about it, ring won't tell you what I saw. When you break it off, you'll see who had it all. You had it all. You said you wanted to fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, 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 oblivion. I'm going in. Fall into oblivion. Fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, 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 oblivion. I'm going in. You can't fall asleep when you're counting stars. Get it together. Your mind can't sleep when you let it serve. I know you wanna see me fall. From a quarter mile, I can see you at the call. Think about it, ring won't tell you what I saw. When you break it off, you'll see who had it all. You had it all. You said you wanted to fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, oblivion, oblivion.
Done.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Collegiate R6, and we are back for our second series of the night. It is the round of 8 in the Premier Invite League playoffs. We have got UGA Georgia versus CU-Boulder, the 4th seed and the 5th seed, respectively, going at each other tonight in a series that we are likely going to see go all the way once again. And as always, my name is Jays Wills, and joining me on the desk this fine evening is Matt. How are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic tonight. I always love it when we see 4th and 5th place teams face off because it's usually a really good match. It's almost like if the 1st and the 2nd seed play each other. It's going to be impactful. It's going to have a lot of action, and that's exactly what we're here to see. And I'm hoping it goes to all 3 maps because it could definitely be like that.
Well, not too long ago, the last time I think these two teams met, I casted this game and it did indeed go the distance. It was a battle back and forth in the Face It preseason, and it was Georgia who eventually came out on top. But let's take a look at our map bands and actually see where we are going to end up doing battle this evening. It won't be Cafe, as UGA electing to take that off the board. Consulate as well will hit the bottom of the trash bin. And now Villa will be that first map, just like our earlier series. It's great to see Villa, Oregon as well, same as before. Coastline won't be our decider, nor will Theme Park. It is going to be that clubhouse decider, Matt.
So it looks like your standard T3 maps here. Villa, Oregon, and Clubhouse, very common 3 map pick between all of them. And I want to say that Villa first here, you're going to see a lot of back and forth battles between these two. It's not necessarily an attacker sided nor defender sided map, but there is a large part of it where it will favor the teams who roam clear as a full team, and they also play site a lot more. Not necessarily when you have that offsite pressure where teams will really find themselves struggling to hold on to those kinds of sites.
Yeah, and this gives us a perfect opportunity to walk through these teams and talk about exactly the players that are in front of us tonight. All eyes will, of course, be on Blonde, the CU-Boulder star, who, at least in the weeks that we have statistics recorded for this team, has put up a very impressive 1.73 player rating, only
That's
rivaled
very
by
impressive.
one player. Matt himself of Akron is the only player to rival that rating even in the slightest. Of course, IMAT has that 1.8 rating. But on the side of UGA, all eyes will be on Juan de Swan and Drunken Cast. Of course, their rating has not been as high as Blonde, not the T3 experience as much as Blonde has under his belt, but those both players have about a 1.2-ish rating, both of them together. And, seeing those players in action tonight will be simply a great indicator of the skill that they bring to the table, and the battle between the stars on both of these teams is also going to be great to watch as these two star rosters really just duke it out.
I mean, whenever you see 2-star rosters just do battle, it's always going to be fireworks lighting up the scoreboard and the map itself. So I can't wait to get started on this Villa match. And I would love to see it go to Oregon because there's a lot of potential between these two teams. As you mentioned before, there are a lot of players that we need to keep in mind. Blonde is going to be that player to watch, though, because only being rivaled by IMAT, who has been very successful in collegiate and in T3 in general, I mean, you're going to see a very good matchup today.
You absolutely are. And I think Villa, Oregon, Clubhouse, those 3 maps in that order, I mean, they are going to be perfect places to do battle. I mean, we call it the T3 special for a reason, because we see these maps all the time. They are a staple of this level of siege, of any level of siege, in fact. And because of that, as overplayed as they may be, they really give a great comparison of these two teams. If you bring out a map like Consulate or Theme Park, maybe one team is going to get lucky. Maybe one team is more prepared than the other because strats can be thrown out the window. The antics will come to the forefront. But on these staple maps, these iconic maps, it will be a very clear battle to who comes out on top. The winning team tonight won't simply be lucky. They haven't simply won the map bans. Both of these teams have a great map pool in front of them. They have all the information to work with, and we are going to see a perfect comparison between these two teams to see who moves on to face Akron in the semifinals next week.
Yeah, the semifinal is going to be very good. But just found out that Blonde will actually not be playing tonight, and it will be Milk subbing in for him. I'm not entirely
Milk,
certain.
yeah.
Milk. So Milk will be subbing in for him. So already that's one of your key players not going to be a factor in this one. So do you think that's going to change the outcome for the rest of the team tonight, knowing that one of their star players will not be here?
I mean, yeah, that's definitely going to be a factor. I don't know the breakdown of the roles on that team, but often these star players are the ones with the most competitive experience, and as such, will have a very active role in the comms, in the decision making of a team. And so losing that experience wherever Blonde may be right now is a very big deal, and it could be a huge detriment to the team. But all that decision making, all of that strategy, Well, it's going to start in the operator bans on Villa. We probably know what we're going to expect to see. Thatcher, maybe an ace of Valkyrie, something of that nature. But regardless, it's going to be a fantastic map. We're going to see exactly which operators will not be a factor in this map.
Yeah, and if you're looking at a map like Villa, Thatcher is most likely going to be the first one off the board here. And yeah, it's a Thatcher here. No surprise to anyone watching right now. And second attacker here. So this is Georgia banning. They are going to be on the attack first. I would say either a Hibana or a who? I'm going to say Hibana here. I think Hibana is going to be the one. I can't really think of a better operator to ban in this situation. Oh,
Well,
Ace, that's it. Yeah, Ace. That's
is
what
that exact
escaped me for a second.
operator. It's the hard breach, same as Hibana. It is the ranged hard breach that can be so problematic. Not to mention, wielding 3 of those Selma charges can be very effective on all of these sites, honestly. Brilliant at opening up the games and aviator wall from the study side, and quite effective on that master wall as well. And Mira, we will not see played on either of these sites. Also a powerful operator on both of the sites I just mentioned a moment ago. And those black mirrors will not be a consideration that either of these attacking teams have to deal with. Mira is often that extra step that attacking rosters need to check off of their checklist before the actual execute goes down. Kaid is also helpful to make that checklist just a bit shorter. You don't have to deal with those electro claws. Sure, there are bandit batteries and mute jammers to deal with, but they can't be on the ceiling or a wall. They have to be on the floor in front of the wall. Very simple to deal with if you know where you're going.
I mean, one of the big reasons why you see Kaid banned so often is because of that Thatcher ban. Thatcher is realistically one of the only operators who can counter that Kaid charge. And a Twitch drone can do it as well, but it's not as viable. So when it comes down to it, when you eliminate one presence to try and get rid of an operator, you have to eliminate the other side. So that is why we see Kaid and Thatcher banned usually in the same rounds. This is true on Clubhouse, on Consulate, and a bunch of other maps. So Villa is going to be one of the maps that will see this as well. Looking at the operator lineup here and the site of choice, it will be Aviator and Games Room. You're definitely looking to see either a bedroom-sided take from the attackers here or a study-centered attack. Realistically, that's going to come down to how many roamers that Boulder attempt to really put on the map. I know a lot of teams opt to have somebody down in basement just for those late rotates, but with a nomad on the board, it is going to be a little bit more difficult for Boulder to continually roam and flank Georgia, who can be setting up with that nomad and using her gadgetry to their advantage to stop and mitigate all of that flanking potential.
Well, I love the point you brought up, Matt, about the difference in how much extension are you actually going to implement on this particular site. Often we will see teams, as we are seeing CU-Boulder do now, extend utility and operators all the way to the other side of the map, whether they are defending trophy and statuary, or whether they are simply defending planes and games, as we see now. They are going to devote resources to preventing the map clear that the attacking team is likely going to undertake. And Georgia clearly have it on their minds to be undergoing that very clear. You work your way from the north side, getting all the way to the south side on that top floor, clearing your way through. Heckle, of course, will be one of those two defenders, as will Alexis on this extension. But what Juan is doing right now is locking off this rotation. The only option the defenders can do to fall back is jump on down that atrium, jump on down jungle, and head downstairs and go for that rotate. If Alexis is not careful, he could get caught out on that boar window, but it's Heckle who's actually going to catch Drunken Pass unaware and send the Ash to the early grave. A lot of utility is now lost, but the retaliating blow is found, and it's found twofold, as Heckle and Alexis will both overextend on this top floor, and will both be cut down. Despite the eyes from Juan de Swan watching Milk aggress on Statuary, the kill is found, and Milk is still alive in this game. 90 seconds now remain in a 3v3 situation is what both of these teams face.
Clearing out those roamers was huge, but Juan is going to get one back onto Milk here, making it a little bit more manageable for the attacking side. And the defenders now finding themselves backpedaling with their extended hold inside of Trophy and Statue quickly eliminated. It's all up to Arctic and Ulven as the Echo and the Legion, the lone two members sitting onto site. Now, here's the thing about Villa, though. It comes down to the Fatal Funnel, regardless of how many people you have alive, as long as there is a person on each site split. That's exactly what we're seeing right here from Boulder. Just under a minute left to play, and Manly is going to be taking quite a bit of damage from outside of Study as the plant is now coming down from Casanova. As Juan is going to be on the cover outside of landing. There's Juan. He'll find that kill onto Ulven, so now it's all up to the Legion. He's running through 90, trying to get the flank off, but there's the air jab. It will be detonated, and now he'll be forced to push down. The swing and the prone peek from Casa is not going to find Arctic, and he will get a little bit of damage, but ultimately escape out of that one. He has no idea or no intel on where these last two attackers remain via the post-plant situation. But now he's got to make his way up, and he will be cut down quickly by Manly Banana. Georgia will win that round, and pretty handily, with the extended roam clear, proving to be the game changer without losing any extra bodies than the one.
Yeah, the roam clear did go down successfully, although there definitely were some kinks in the initial clear, allowing themselves to be picked off a couple of times by both Heckle and Milk. At the end of the day, the roam clear went down. Mo Money was the one who found both of those extended roamers on that statuary side. And after that, really, it just cascaded onto the bomb site itself. The pressure did, in fact, and Georgia found themselves cleanly in the hands of a one-round advantage. Now, going into round two, we are going to be switching up the sites despite that first round loss over to Trophy and Statuary site. Now, this site honestly plays quite similar to the way that AVG plays out as well. This is because an extension to the opposite side of the top floor is an equally viable strategy. You put people on that AVG side, you reinforce that study wall, you put some roamers over there, and you can extend that top floor control just the same way that you would extend it over to Trophy on a Plains and Games defense as well. But for this time, with the barricades going down and we see all these reinforcements being devoted to this closet side, a full Plains and Games extension does not seem like it will be in order for CU-Boulder. They are going to be rocking more of a traditional on-site setup, except for Arctic, of course, who is taking up that basement roam that you predicted perfectly, Matt. You lurk in the basement and you wait for the opportunity to get a late flank going. And of course, those air jabs that Casanova are wielding are going to make that harder to pull off. But with the C4, with the ability to take out those air jabs if you spot them out, flanks on those late moments in a round can be absolutely critical to pull off.
Yeah, I did notice that person roaming downstairs in basement. But realistically, the extended hold into Aviator not being a factor for Boulder might be one of their downfalls. Extending inside of Aviator in games can make it a lot harder for the attackers to gain ground. And in this sense, it is going to be a massive anchor from the side of Boulder with only that lone pressure downstairs in basement, hoping to rotate late. Now, I think that Boulder was expecting a very heavy bedroom-sided take here, and realistically, they're not doing that. They're going for that Aviator in games clear. So next round, if Boulder somehow loses this, they will most likely go for an extended hold inside of that site.
But with the pressure mounting onto the site and a C4 nearly taking down Drunken Cass, Georgia is continuing to build that pressure that has been gifted to them by the lack of an extension. But Juan, swinging on in unannounced, is going to get down by Alexis. Manly Banana will make sure that Milk is taken down before the actual push goes in, and will use that opportunity to revive his fallen teammate. Or Drunken Cass has picked up Juan. So now sitting in a 4v5, the anchors are still locking down this site, but Drunken Cass finds another. Casanova rains Heckle onto the grave, and Ulven and Arctic are all that remains. You've got Echo, you can deny this plant, but you can't deny the push for long. UGA gonna storm on into the site. The diffuser going down on the ground, and Ulven and Arctic are going to have to find a crazy, impossible retake. Arctic on this late flank is hoping to be that key operator, and is going to have to, as Ulven is cut down. Arctic finds one, but needs to find 4 more, and Manly Banana is going to say, and not a chance. It did not matter that the bandit was lurking in base. In fact, it really was a detriment to that defense. The direct statuary take could not be felled by a defender all the way in basement. He had to make that pressure felt just a bit earlier on in the round. Otherwise, the site control would be surrendered. And that it was round number 2 in the hands of Georgia.
You're just looking at a team that is struggling to defend on a couple of different levels. One of the main things is that they are not opting for those extended holds, which can stall the attackers and that realistic roam clear. They have not done any of that. So if you're looking for an adaptation to try and make yourself a little bit more successful on your defensive rounds, try and contest those choke point areas when you're holding sites such as statue and trophy. One of the choke points you have to contest is either that small walk-in closet, bedroom, or aviator in games. And if you can do all 3, you are putting yourself in probably one of the better positions to win rounds. We have not really seen that from Boulder yet, as they're opting for more of a standard traditional style hold where they reinforce themselves off of site and play for the funnel. However, playing for that funnel is not what Georgia is doing. They are trying to take those ones early and in quick succession.
Yeah, I think the strategy that Georgia are employing is just relying on their gun skill, relying on their ability to just swing on into the site as a team and win those 1v1, those 2v1 gunfights, and at that point, use those entry frags to get that early positioning, that site control, and then rain on through. Once again, we are going to see this full south to north clear, working their way in from this aviator side. But Ulven, with the Echo drone or the Yokai drone in position, is actually fully aware that this take is going down. Is CU-Boulder going to act on it, though? As last time, they preferred to just vibe on the site and wait for the actual site take to be the factor. Ulven will save that Yokai drone. Now, that could be a key moment later in this round, but the Valkyrie camera will be no more as it was taken out. So the information focus for CU-Boulder is a really big, important factor for them in this round. However, how important is that information if you're not acting on it? If everyone is turtled on the bomb site, then maybe that information is not being utilized properly, but it's always hard to find that balance between aggression and calculated passive aggression, you could say, applying those tactical pushes in the right moments. But the push from Master will net 1 kill for Georgia as Alexis is cut down. Heckle now will finally be working a flank with that information. The Yings come out, but so will the kills from Heckle. He's going to line them up and secure a double kill, and Georgia find themselves on the back foot here. Mo Money finds an answer, but so does Arctic. But now Mo Money is all the way up in this site, and Heckle and Milk are on the back foot.
A 2v2 situation, and the diffuser is no longer in the possession of the attackers. It's now in the hands of the defenders. An ill-advised swing from Juan will find Milk, giving him that kill. Looking at a 1v2 situation as Mo Money is going to find himself inside of Statue Room. Still diffuserless in this situation. He had to find a Jaeger. He'll swing out, find a triple on to Heckle. It's all up to Milk. The lone defender sitting inside of walk-in closet. Mo Money still does not have the diffuser in his possession, but he is looking to try and get the kills here. He knows the position, he sees the back, and that is a 4K for Mo Money as Milk will be cut down. Georgia answer again with another consecutive attacking round. This time, it's off the back of Mo Money.
Georgia really putting on a show, 3 rounds in a row that they have taken, and on the attacking side, no less. On Villa, at the T3 and collegiate levels, you would normally expect this to go a little bit in the favor of that defensive side, and CU-Boulder recognized that, and that is, of course, why they elected to start Georgia's map pick on defense. But with 3 rounds under their belt, and 3 rounds showing no signs of success for CU-Boulder, things are looking rather concerning for them going forward. Of course, Georgia really eked out that last one. Mo Money really made it happen in that 1v2 clutch in that last second. But overall, Georgia, they are pouring on the pressure. They've got the momentum in their hands, and they are looking ready to go even further as we head back to Aviator in Games.
And Aviator in Games is a site that we will do battle yet again. This is one of those sites that you need to be a little bit more aggressive on holding. You have to play that shotgun close on the vault door, or you have to find a way to contest that easy plant off of landing. You cannot allow the attackers any control of 90 until the last 30 seconds of the round as the defenders, which we have not seen Georgia really struggled to do. They've been able to get control of site relatively easy in those consecutive matches. So you have to look at this defense from Boulder as almost completely unorthodox. They need to try and contest these crucial choke points, and they haven't yet, and it's been costing them rounds. Even last round, they had the diffuser in their possession, and they got too aggressive, trying to play for picks. They don't necessarily need to play for picks here. They need to play the objective.
Yeah, that objective focus from CU-Boulder, though, has actually been their downfall, it seems. You know, you've seen them go for those full turtle holds, those full on-site controlled defenses, and they actually haven't really worked out all that well in CU-Boulder's favor. In fact, they've gone into Georgia's favor because Georgia has been really playing off that very lack of horizontal extension. But with 1 minute burned in this round, and the extension still an ever-present factor in round number 4, as we see Heckle and Alexis once again taking those reins, and as we see Alexis sending Casanova to the grave. Now Alexis feeling confident is going to swing out on that trophy window, but an ill-advised swing will actually net Milk the grave rather than Alexis. So things aren't all tied up. They're sitting even now in a 4v4, and there only remains one player on this extension because Alexis has retreated or been forced. Actually, I completely lied to you there. Alexis remains stalwart, refusing to leave trophy, as does Heckle. This hold, now 90 seconds in, is continuing to stall out this clock. And the Shift W swing from Mo Money is going to be unwise, but Drunken Cass will take out Alexis in the meantime. Heckle finds one, though, as Drunken Cass hits the floor. So things are all even in a 3v3. Heckle tries to find another, but it's 2 more picks going on the board. Ovid and Mo Money will go 1 for 1. Things will sit even in a 2v2, but with ample time left to gain information, both of these teams are actually sitting in a pretty good spot. In terms of the defense, you've got the time working against these attackers. You've got yokai drones, and you have the time to just wait on this site. But Mo Money has smokes and has candelas, can blind and force their way into the site.
Those candelas can prove to be hugely influential in the end game, and we've seen Ying clutch up before, and we could definitely see it again here. But a 2v2 situation, under 30 seconds left, it's going to be forced the attackers into that fatal funnel, which we talk about multiple times. ADSs are still on the board, so here come these candelas and the smoke grenades. They're going to ring out, and the potential plant situation could be coming out from Georgia here. As Mo Money is going to go inside of that plant. Arctic's going to be trying to spray through the smoke as the Echo drone will be concussing towards the vault door. It's now up to the Echo to try and deny that plant. Arctic will cut down Juan, and Mo Money will fall as well. The Echo and the Legion combo is going to be difference here. Round goes to Georgia, not Georgia, Boulder, and they will be able to win a defensive round.
Yeah, the first offensive round for CU-Boulder is finally found. And really, we talked about how the on-site pressure wasn't really working out, the full turtle strategy. In fact, the extension, that very thing, was the saving grace for CU-Boulder. They extended those players off to that trophy and statuary side. And even though those players were eventually cut down, the amount of utility they wasted, the amount of players that Georgia expended on that take simply was too much for them to make up when it came to that eventual clear. Of course, It could have gone either way. In the end, the utility was there for Georgia, but CU-Boulder on defense, all they had to do was sit back and wait for Georgia to walk into their open and loving arms. They did that very thing, and they took their first offensive round win. But they are going to need to repeat that success. And these trophy and statuary defenses have not gone well for CU-Boulder thus far. This is that time where we're going to have to see them pivot and change on the fly. That number one change, at least that stands out in my mind, would be to extend that defense a little bit over to the Aviator side. Prevent Georgia from getting the headway into sight right away. Spend the time off the clock just like you did in round number 4. However, the utility will remain devoted only onto the bomb site itself. Heckle will be on that solo extension for the time being over on that game's side. He will be the player elected to hold this off for now.
We've seen teams come back from 3-0 deficits, and right now Boulder could just be waking up. They're finally finding their rhythm and maybe finally caught on to what Georgia is doing. Now, the way they're doing it, a little bit unorthodox. They still haven't employed any of those standard strategies to hold those hotly contested areas. So you're looking at these guys to try and basically take their ones in a more strategic situation, because that's really all that's going for them right now, and they just need to minimize the amount of aggression that they have on the defensive side. Play the objective, not picks. So right now, we're looking at that south to north clear, and it looks like we've finally seen this team push as an actual team. Still, no extended hold from Boulder inside of Aviator in games, and that proves to be completely detrimental as Georgia is given complete free real estate of the south side of the map. You're looking at Georgia trying to take control of 90, and they do have control of 90 without losing a single body or getting any kind of drone destroyed. If you look at the attack inside of Georgia, they still have a generous amount of drone economy with a ton of time left to work with. Possession of landing is now there. But do they know Heckle is on the flank here? This could prove to be super detrimental, as Drunken will find Alexis, and that is the first opening pick. Heckle's on the flank here. He'll find the Ash, looking for another one, but he can't land all the shots. He finds the one, but cannot land the rest. Juan will be able to cut him down. Casanova is taken out by Olvin and Juan, and Mo Money cut down there. Defending operators as well. It's all up to Olvin in the 1v3 as he's going to sit in master bathroom and attempt to use the cameras for what he has left to maybe clutch out this situation. But right now, Georgia is looking to try and put this into post plant and give their team easy win.
Yeah, with Juan getting that diffuser on the ground, Olvin using the yokai drone to stop the first plant, but realizing that it would only delay the inevitable. The diffuser was going to go down, and a retake would be required. Mo Money going to shut that down right as it got started. Round number 5 firmly in the grasp of UGA. Now, Matt, I generally like what we saw from both of those teams, but the repeat success of Georgia on trophy and statuary, given the same defensive setup, using the same attack, is no surprise to me whatsoever. We need to see a change from CU-Boulder because so far they have done the same thing 3 times in a row, and while there have been moments of success, while it looked like maybe they could take a round or 2 here or there on this site, overall, Georgia have indeed taken all 3, and now on this 4th attempt, we're not going to see the tertiary bomb site, rather this 4th attempt on this bomb site, we need to see an actual macro strategy change.
Nor should we see a tertiary bomb site here. So far from Boulder, we haven't really seen them win defensive rounds, so seeing that they can't win these standard and relatively easier to hold sites, why go to a tertiary bomb site? Maybe try and throw them off, but in this situation, trophy and statue is definitely the play. They need to hold Aviator in games, though. It's a crucial choke point. The more they just hand to the attackers in that, just that free real estate, it's going to make it easier for these attackers to really just push their way into sight completely uncontested. So I'd like to see Boulder make that one key adaptation which is to focus on that shutting down those areas where the attackers are pushing from. This time, though, it could be a bedroom-sided take in which they don't necessarily need to completely contest it. But so far, what I'm seeing from the same setup here is that Boulder is opting for the same style. This time, though, I actually do see Heckle. He's going to find himself inside of Aviator, and the study push from Georgia is starting to play out a little bit more here. The sprays through the wall, and Junkin's not going to find anything, but Heckle's going to fall all the way back down. Again, this roam from Heckle has been pretty lackluster. He gets a few picks, but he does not ultimately help his team win the round, whereas in those certain situations, he needs to just waste the attacker's time, and so far, he hasn't really done that.
No, we are seeing Georgia get quite a bit of traction in, I guess, quite little time. They already have full 90 control, study control, and they're working their way to this statuary landing with only 1 minute burn. We do have to be wary that Georgia have fallen victim to the same mistake twice. They have allowed Heckle to come up on the flank. The first time he found 2 kills, the second only 1. But you can't think that a third flank will be successful by Heckle, but so far Heckle has proven that I guess they could be elusive to those air jabs, elusive to those flank watchers, and simply just get that flank and get those frags. But as you said, Matt, at the end of the day, those frags have not been enough of a saving grace for CU-Boulder. And now we cross that 90-second mark, and we cross the moment where that first kill comes on the board. Arctic will be the first victim. That would be delivered by Casanova. And now, as this is furthered on, Casanova takes a bit of damage here, but the nade is perfectly placed, and Manly Banana will time the swing accordingly, sending Milk to the grave and sending us to this 1 minute mark, with now the execute soon to follow. But the shots from Heckle, the vertical play finds one. Casanova has an answer, and as does Mo Money. Once again, it is a 1v4, another CU-Boulder needing to clutch situation. Heckle swings up from Astro, but gets immediately shut down by Mo Money, and Georgia find themselves a wonderful first half. A very successful 5-1 lead is now firmly in their hands.
It's just kind of aggravating to watch these guys because it's the same mistakes that they are making time and time again. As a defender, you need to contest those crucial choke points. If you don't, you are basically handing the attackers 3 rounds, and that's exactly what happened. You are seeing Georgia up 5-1 here just because the defending team of Boulder, they just handed them rounds because they didn't pass those crucial choke points. Now watch the difference between these two teams on defense. Now we are going into the swap where Georgia will now be on the defense. Look to see them play inside a trophy and statue and play that extended hold into Aviator in games. And likewise, play inside of Aviator in games as the site of choice, and extend inside of Trophy Statue, but hold it with utility and not just players in that area. That's where we see Castle and other operators such as Wamai and Jaeger playing off-site be a huge factor. It wastes a ton of time and utility for these attackers to clear those areas because they still need to get control of them in order to get any ground as an attacker. Looking at the setup here from Georgia, they are most likely going to go with a heavy-sided trophy hold. You see that Malusi, and Malusi is probably one of the better operators you need to have in order to shut down these rushes. And in certain situations, she can be very, very impactful, especially when it comes down to that fatal funnel in that last few 30 seconds of the round. She can prove to be completely round changing. But so far, I'm actually not seeing that home the trophy, rather a basement and lower floor hold.
Yeah, and it also appears that CU-Boulder won't be going for that traditional clear, although they all spawned fountain side, and it looked like that was something they were intending on doing. They shifted over to this study side, and 1 kill has already been found. Mo Money for Fun will now be dropped off of this round, and now this attacking pressure will continue to cascade towards this site, opting for that direct take, but Casanova, aware of the position of Heckle, will remove the Ash from play. The blows go back and forth. Drunken Cass will trade out his fallen teammate. Oh, another one. He'll trade out the second as Alexis is cut down as well. CU-Boulder, this adjustment pushing all the way in from that main doorway. Those main stairs push really seem to be not all that successful. Thankfully, though, they do have one hard breacher left, but Milk doesn't seem to care. A flashbang and then a swing onto both doorways. The second doorway is where Juan was positioned and where Juan will find his grave. But the Nitro Cell narrowly missing. I'm not sure how that didn't send Milk to his grave either, but regardless, it's a 2v2. Drunken Cast now out of a C4, but Manly Banana still has the utility, still has the time on their side to work with before this push through.
I mean, you're looking at the defending side of Georgia. They're really just playing for those last few seconds for the attackers to really push in. They reinforced off the rotation hole so that deployable shield will not be cleared, but now Manly Banana will be forced to retreat back to the site. Got a Nitro Cell in hand, it'll go out and detonate. It'll actually kill Milk this time, as the hard breach charge will go off on the wall. That's not actually a hard breach charge, that's a thermite charge, excuse me. Opening up that 90 wall gives access and line of sight to Vault. Ulven, he knows there's one there. Flashbang will ring out. He'll kill the guy inside of Vault. Now just a 1v1 situation. This could be completely winnable for Boulder here. They need this round more than ever. The sprays from the thermite cannot connect onto the head of Manly Banana. And it's a shotgun versus an AR here, as Manly Banana is going to push up. No, he is not able to find those kills. Ulven to close out that round, as Boulder get a much needed attacking round win here.
Well, the win there was taken for CU-Boulder, and they will find round number 2 on the board for them there in round number 7. Overall, a interesting style of take, one that didn't go so well at all initially, but thankfully the refrag game was very strong. Every kill that UGA had delivered toward that CU-Boulder side, well, CU-Boulder had an immediate and swift response to that aggression. Most of the fighting went down off of the bomb site. It went down on that first floor, which was interesting to say the least, but at the end of the day, it worked in the favor of the attackers. Ulven clutched it up in that 1v2 scenario. But now that we're heading back to Trophy and Statuary, this is a great opportunity to bring up the point that we were going back and forth about, Matt, about CU-Boulder really hammering home this particular site. And you mentioned that you like to see them head back here because it is the more viable site in play. But I'd argue that going to the same site multiple times in a row, even compared to a tertiary bomb site, is far more of a mistake than opting for that tertiary bomb site than a secondary one, at least in the grand scheme of things, if you've already failed the same bomb site 3 times in a row. I mean, doing the same thing again as we saw them do on defense really found them nothing. It really found them nothing. But regardless of our opinions on that, we can agree to disagree, and we also have to see how Georgia is going to set this site up as well. I mean, maybe they won't. They bring in the same setup multiple times. Obviously, they didn't want to go to Aviator in games multiple times in a row. So as they take it over to this secondary bomb site, here is the big difference. We are going to see that horizontal extension with utility, with reinforcements, has now been employed. The question is, does CU-Boulder actually feed in to that utility, or do they circumvent it completely and go for a direct master take, which it looks like they have in mind?
I mean, you're already looking at that huge difference you already mentioned, which is the utility and those reinforcements put down inside of Aviator. That is going to make it a lot harder for the attackers to really gain ground, and it looks like they won't even try and push it. Like you mentioned, a shot comes off from the Valkyrie, but Heckle's going to win that fight. The R4C and Ash's small hitbox prevail yet again in a gunfight. Huge pick to open things off. That's the Valkyrie below sight now dead. No longer can play that vertical control with the Nitro Cell in hand, so Dokkaebi will be able to get those cameras. Those cameras... Now, Dokkaebi is an interesting operator because she does ring the phone of every single defender on the map, no matter what happens. But right now, we're seeing Alexis taking some damage to the person sitting at hash. That'll be Juan with the SMG-11 in hand. That verticality from the Ash charge will detonate and give a small bit of here, as Heckle and Arctic have below control. Going back to my thoughts on Dokkaebi, she's allowed to ring the phone of any defender on map all at once. And it offers a lot of intel audibly, but also it disrupts the defense a couple of senses. Beautiful shot from Alexis will land onto Juan. Now the man advantage firmly in favor of Boulder here. This is a change that we haven't seen quite often as Boulder is starting to strike back. Though an ill-advised swing from the bottom of Astro Stairs, Alexis will find the grave via the Maestro's Alda and the 81 bullets. Arctic still below, and Milk has found his way inside a bathroom. The AK-47 is going to ring out and find the head target of Casanova. That Alda no longer can chime out and hit target. A 4v2 situation and a little bit more manageable for Georgia here. But Heckle's going to try and frag, and he'll find Mo Money. Looking for another one here as Manly Banana left in the 1v4. He will not be able to capitalize much. He'll find Heckle, but nothing more as Arctic will cut him down. Round goes to Boulder here, and they start to strike back after a rather lackluster defensive performance.
Well, now with 2 rounds under their belt on this attacking half, well, they're starting to bridge this gap. That's 2 in a row. The momentum is in their favor, and, well, they look pretty good so far. Georgia haven't had much of a foothold on either of these bomb sites, while the Aviator and Games site went a little bit better, but Trophy was definitely not the site they feel most confident on. And now, we didn't touch on this point all that much during the round itself, but Alexis is actually rocking the 0. Now, you combine a 0 with the Dokkaebi, and you actually get some sort of an information game wombo combo, you could say. You've got Dokkaebi, who's sussing out micro-positioning from the defenders, and then you've got Alexis, who can just send a camera into the wall and look pretty much anywhere, popping up 4 essentially attacking vault cams, which also work both ways through soft walls, and that can be extremely beneficial to an attack. The information style of attack that CU-Boulder are rocking right now has gained them 2 rounds in a row. And now going into their 3rd attack, it seems that they are content in bringing a same lineup. You've got Thermite, your only hard breacher, which is generally a point of concern, but hasn't been one for CU-Boulder so far. You've got your Dokkaebi, and you've got your 0. This information focus combined with the air jabs that Milk is bringing on the Nomad to lock off those flanks, and really, site control is yours, map control is yours, because you have all the information you could possibly need at your fingertips. Often we'll see defensive teams counter that with an information denial wombo combo of their own. Of course, I'm talking about Mozzie and Mute, but for now, we're not going to see that from Georgia. It is only this extended hold, this downstairs roam we are seeing from Casanova that will be the focus of round number 9.
You're looking at the operator selection of Boulder, and I know you already touched on this, but if you're looking to get even more information, you might as well bring a Monty, because he walks into a room and he can tell you if it's clear or not without really risking his life all that much. So looking at the attacking side, little bit interesting that they only have that singular hard breach, but you look at a team like Boulder right now, all the information they have makes it a lot easier for them to win their gunfights. Heckle has been doing quite well in these situations. Yes, he is 8, 4, and 8, but that does not take away from the fact that he is making the impactful frags that is winning his team those few rounds. On the other side of the coin, you're looking at Georgia. They're looking to hunker down here and not force any of the engagements that they really need to. This is something different from Boulder. We saw them take a rather really aggressive style of defense, and it did not pay off at all. We're seeing Alexis K, though. Gonna open up, find the opening frag of Drunken Cast, but Holland's gonna refrag onto Milk here, a 4v4 situation with under a... Arctic's gonna ring out with Casanova, falling to Dokkaebi's DMR, and Alexis K will be refragged by Mo Money. He is having himself a field day right now at 12 and 4 on the Jaeger. Looking at a 3v3 situation as we see the Jaeger still playing on the stairs here, trying to contest that area and not let any of the attackers walk right up. Still, Arctic is below, trying to get any kind of information that he can, as Heckle is looking to try and frag of its own. Now, do mention Study Wall is completely wide open, so the attackers have to be a little bit careful, because their own breach could work against them here under 45 seconds play.
Yeah, with the time now dwindling away, Mo Money is continuing to get aggressive and trying to swing on these attackers. It's Swan to actually do that, and he'll send Arctic to the grave, but it's a 2v3 still, and Ulven has been clutch in these situations before. Not to mention Heckle, racking up 8 kills so far, is looking to add to that impressive tally. Swinging on in games through the fire and the smoke, in fact, but Mo Money eventually taking him down after 1 kill was found. But Ulven on the swing finds 1. Now it's a 1v1. Ulven won this last time, but he has the diffuser in the hand, and he has to put it on the deck. Manly Banana has a C4. Here it comes. Will it connect? It looks like it will. Yes.
Beautiful.
There goes Ulven, and Georgia take round number 9. A back and forth round, but brilliant use of utility in the closing seconds there from Manly Banana. Good C4 toss and a good way to end off that round and to actually have their eyes now on match point.
And on a map like Villa, match point means a lot because you have been exchanging rounds back and forth, and I can count a number of times where I've seen Villa go to overtime. It's almost every single time I see a Villa map because it is so back and forth, because the defenders do something and the attackers are able to counter it. Well, then the defenders switch it up and then the attackers get. So it's just a back and forth, constant tooth and nail battle. You're looking at a 6-3 scoreline here, favoring Georgia here on their map pick. This is a good situation to be in if they are here, and not a terrible one either. Trophy and Statue, the site of choice here for Georgia, as they look to defend their match point victory here. All they need to do is realistically hold off Boulder in their over-aggressive attack. Again, opting for the Dokkaebi and the zero play on the attacking side. They do have a lot of information on their side, and they can use that to gather it and push into those areas. Now, something I do not like here is that they do not really have that Zofia to play that vertical pressure. They only have the Ashe to really get those bandits and mutes off of the wall. And if you look, there is only a mute being run on the side of Georgia. Very interesting operator selection for Boulder. And so far, it really hasn't paid off all that well, other than a few other.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
Yeah, now with this setup now fully telegraphed, it does seem that Casanova is going to be using this hatch possibly to their own advantage. Last time, of course, they were aware that CU-Boulder tried to play vertically and the importance of shutting that down early. Here comes Heckle, actually aware that that hatch is open, though, so we'll be quite wary of pressuring down into Laundry. Looking straight up through that hatch. In fact, Heckle is fully aware of that position, not to mention the Maestro cam on that setup to look both downstairs and up. So Heckle will be taking that cam out, raiding that breaching charge above, and now we'll be taking control of this bottom floor as much as possible, assisted by the rest of the team who are now pressuring in directly on this master side. It does seem that CU-Boulder are absolutely content continuing their very direct style of attack, not bothering to obtain full map control, using all this information that we've highlighted with the Dokkaebi and the Zero, and using their single hard breacher to send it directly onto site in as little time as possible.
They really need to move fast here. Get this wall open and get control of better. Right now, you are letting the defenders play you into that fatal funnel. And with the Melusi on the board, it is not going to be a good time for the attackers. And I say that, Juan will pick off Alexis, and that is your Zero off the board, no longer giving intel to your teammates. But Juan will be refragged by Milk inside a bathroom. The swing from Drunken Cost, though, is going to find a Nomad dead. Looking to try and get another one here at the bottom of Astro Stairs, but Mo Money will pick off Heckle as some shots are exchanged from the Melusi and Arctic. He is now below, looking as the Dokkaebi with the DMR, trying to pick off some kind of defender, playing above. But now Mo Money will fall down red stairs and find Arctic. He is having an absolute field day, and I'll continue to say that. At 15-5, he is definitely putting the team on his back. Who needs to put his team on his back now, though, is Ulven, who's found himself inside a master bathroom, unable to realistically get that wall open, and putting his team in a dire situation. It's match point here, so he needs to win this round in order to push another round here. He'll get this wall open, it looks like, as he's going to swing. He will try and land a shot to the Malusi, QEing back and forth, trying to land some more shots. As the Maestro knows his position, the Malusi knows his position. He pulls out the pistol, goes for the kill on the Maestro, but he can't do it. Mo Money will find himself a 3K and close out Villa, their map pick here, as we move in to Villa. Or not Villa, excuse me. Oh my god, what's the next map?
Oregon will be map
Almost
number
like Cafe.
2. But map number 1, firmly in the hands of Georgia. They will take that victory on their own map quite happily, and they will move on, rest up, and then come back in style on Oregon. We saw both of these teams really play pretty good Siege at some moments, but in others, a couple of those setups were a bit lacking. A couple of those macro strategies really weren't there. And you have to wonder, at least on the side of CU-Boulder, maybe the lack of Blonde on the team contributed to that. Maybe the lack of decision-making there, or the no call came out to change sites on that 4-in-a-row trophy and statuary stint that we saw them undertake. But whatever you might expect is the problem. It is a problem that they're going to have to solve on their own map pick, a map that they are no doubt going to come out swinging on. But we are going to have to wait just a few moments to see how it plays out. We've got map 2 in this incredible quarterfinal series coming right up. Stick with us and we will be right back.
Oh, you make me wanna talk back to you. Say it like that. If I hate you, then find someone new. Baby, but you know I never will. No, so I choke you down just like a pill. like a pill. Oh yeah. Take you like a pill. Get my fill. Rising with each beat of the music is bringing real flames in the fire that keeps burning. We're inviting the night in. Welcome, my heart so full. I'm devoting myself to the night. There's no motive. We're just listening. We're existing. We stay where the music plays, where the lights drop below, where the people sway. Rising with each beat of the music is bringing real flames in the fire that keeps burning. We're inviting the night in. Welcome, my heart so full. I'm devoting myself to the night. There's no motive. We're just listening. We're existing.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Collegiate R6. And we have a good second map in store for you today. If you are just joining us, you missed a pretty good map of Villa between Georgia and Boulder. It will be featuring Georgia take a 7-4 victory on that map. Now we move on to Oregon. I don't know why I always forget what map to play until we actually see it. Such a problem. I need to actually fix that.
Well,
but-
we've got Oregon on our hands, Matt, and it is going to be exciting. This is, of course, CU-Boulder's map pick, and where we saw them struggle on Villa, we would hope they correct those mistakes, clean up their active bit, and really go toe-to-toe with Georgia, who have proven so far that they have come here to fight. And they have done so far with relative success. Of course, a 7-3 victory is pretty dominant. Of course, the scoreline doesn't quite reflect how close this match actually was. Several of these rounds came down to these clutch 1v2, 1v1 moments. Ulvin on the side of CU-Boulder was on the winning end and the losing end of some of those. And you had Mo Money on the other side, who also delivered some clutches as well. And I expect the clutch plays to continue to reign on through on Oregon. We have seen both of these teams go head-to-head on this map before. It was exciting, and I am confident it will be exciting again. But if we look at what we can learn from Villa and how it translates to this map, I mean, a little bit of that can be talked about in terms of horizontal and vertical extensions on these bomb sites. You'll see a little bit of that on Oregon. We saw those extensions really work out for CU-Boulder when they employed them properly, and for Georgia, they struggled to attack when those extensions were implemented well. But we will be seeing Georgia start things out on defense. This is their preferred side because it is, of course, CU-Boulder's map pick, so they are the ones who have these extensions. They are the ones who will be focused first on defense and exactly what they bring to the table. But before we get to all that, the operator bans is up first. Which of these operators will
Thatcher.
not be a factor? You heard it here from Matt, but it will not be Thatcher first.
Darn.
In fact, banned first will be Ace.
I think that Ace, yeah, we saw Ace not played at all last map because he was banned. So moving into a map like Oregon, hard breachers are probably the core operators that you need your eye on when it comes down to trying to take control of site as an attacker. You know who can help facilitate that? Thatcher. Well, he is not going to be a factor here, and you almost have to think about never playing a match with a Thatcher because he's always going to be banned. So just get in the habit of not even playing with him because he is so influential to rounds and helping facilitate those hard breachers when they have to get through those hard walls. Third ban coming out here is going to be a Mira, and that is no surprise, knowing that Mira is almost always paired with a Thatcher ban. You usually don't see her get a lot of playing time on many maps, Oregon and Villa, just to name a few here. Well, yep, you see those two maps? Well, Mira is going to be banned as well. You're most likely going to see a Cade ban as well here because Thatcher is banned, so I would not be surprised to see that. But actually, surprising, Valkyrie ban. You have to think about that, Jay-Z.
Well, the Valkyrie ban is honestly not a surprise whatsoever. The information-focused game that we've actually seen unfold in front of us. This information-focused series, moreover, has, well, it's going to be stalled out just a little bit. The lack of a Mira and a Valkyrie both will hinder the information game on the defensive side of things, and maybe we're going to see a similar strategy on the CU-Boulder side of intel on attack, but at least in round number 1, we're not going to see both a Dokkaebi and a Zero. If so, we're only going to see one of those very operators. And once again, the strategy that CU-Boulder seem to be employing on every one of their attacks is the single hard breacher approach. Now, on some sites, that is very acceptable. Often, one hard breacher is more than enough. There's only one wall that you really want to get open. However, when you go to Oregon, and you especially go to this top floor bomb site, you almost always need two hard breachers, one for the attic wall and one for the closet wall. That is the essential two-step formula to get that crossfire going onto games and eventually get that plant down that many teams like to do. But of course, on the side of Georgia, a more unique operator pick is coming to the forefront. Manly Banana is opting for the Clash, pulling out all the stops to stall out what they expect to be, I can imagine, is an aggressive attack on this top floor. We also have a Pulse, not a common operator on this site either, and we just saw a Rotate over in that attic wall. I have to wonder if that Rotate is going to persist or is simply there to allow players to get their setup going right now. But actually it is, or at least for now, the Rotate will remain, and we are going to see somewhat of a tower extension. I'm loving this creativity here from UGA. Only question is, will it pay off?
This is probably one of the more unique strategies I've seen to holding tower and site of dorms. So it could definitely work. They have the Clash holding down trophy, and I'm surprised we didn't really touch on that because Clash is an operator you don't see all that much playing time until you start to realize how hard it is for the attackers to realistically gain a ton of ground. We haven't really seen Boulder be super aggressive on their attack. It's been a little bit slower pace. So if you look at Boulder here, they're going to be taking a slow-paced attack here, but no wasting absolutely no time trying to dispatch of the bandit charges on the wall here, allowing the Hibana to open it up. And you touched on the fact that you need two hard breachers to hold and try and push into sight here. One for attic, one for bedroom. Well, I only see one, and that's a Hibana. But Milk, he's finding Drunky Cost's first kill. But Milk, he is going to get downed by the Clash, maybe? I'm not entirely certain how he died here. But but Alexis is going to find Casanova, and Manly Banana will eliminate Milk via Clash's taser. We did see Bandit, though. Bandit was able to dispatch of the Nomad and down her from the crossfire inside of Tower. So the Tower presence proving to be a real nuisance and a thorn in the foot of Boulder as they're trying to push in here. But Juan, he's got something to say about that as the SMG-11 is going to strike true. A beautiful shot from Alexis K will net themselves a second kill on the round. It's all up to the Clash and Smoke combo, trying to hold this breach here, which has now been opened by Boulder and the Hibana of Ulven. He's got the Clash shield in hand, though, trying to cut off 2 rotations at the same time. He cannot watch both angles, and that's where the Toxic Babes start to become a little bit more of a factor here. The spring from Han is not going to be very advised, as Alexis K will find him, but Arctic will cut down Manly Banana to finish out the round. That smoke just through.
Well, that's one way of putting it, but I'd say CU-Boulder really just took advantage of the opportunity that Georgia presented them with. I mean, it's not often that you see multiple aspects of a dorm's hold completely perplex you. I mean, of course, the Clash play isn't all that unusual, but if you combine the Clash play with that tower extension that the Bandit and the Pulse were trying to implement, things can get a bit dicey, especially if the only strategy CU-Boulder was implementing was a direct site push. It turns out, whether that was a counter strat or simply an oversight for CU-Boulder, their lack of attic presence actually paid off. They did not work into the strategy that UGA employed. They simply sent it on into the bomb site, dealt with the Clash effectively, because I guess UGA did not think it would be a 5-man push from the one side of the map. Normally, it's 2 on that attic side, 3 from the master bedroom side. If that had been the case, it would have not have only been easier for the Pulse and Bandit to have made an appropriate impact in the round, but it would have also been easier for the Clash to hold down that top floor. A couple of odd elements working against both of these teams, but I love the general idea of what we just saw. Both of these teams, clearly we just saw their minds at work, the stratting and the counter stratting, it all coming to fruition here in round number 2, or in round number 1 rather. But now as we get into round number 2, it's going to be that basement site, the focus, now that that top floor site will be forgotten given the unsuccessful first attempt. And Junk can cast the double Goyo shield here on this J bunker hold is interesting, as well as, you know, we see a common angle established into that J bunker from Pillar.
I love this Goyo strategy, and Goyo has a spot in my heart when it comes to holding a lot of key angles and really hunkering down those crucial choke points. You've seen him used on Villa before, not so much that last match or even at all, but now going into Oregon, he's got a really, really unique role here, which is to completely deny that blue side attack from the attackers. Doesn't even look like they're going to go for it, though, as Arctic's already pushed down main stairs here, now retreating all the way back to classroom. After spraying it down, now entry droning Heckle. Maybe. No, Heckle's going to rotate to meeting room, as they're trying to just clear out the roamers here. Little do they know, though, there are a single roaming presence from Georgia, as they've all fortified themselves here. Let's see if they push in through blue. Casanova found himself all the way down inside of Freezer, holding the prone angle through one of the shelving units. The Goyo shield's not really being a factor here, and Mo Money realizes that they're not pushing into blue, so they will reinforce that off, and maybe those Goyo shields will be repurposed and repositioned into areas where they'll actually have an impact. Arctic's got those lifelines in hand, noble dispatch of that Malusi Wubs, and now you're looking to try and see the pre-fire here. Almost lands the shots onto the Jaeger of Casanova, but she is seeing full white here, as it's going to be a spray from Casanova, finding Alexis, and now a 4v4. 3v4 as Milk will find his second. A double kill between Juan and Casanova will fall as well. Looking at a 2v4 as we're seeing bodies fall everywhere on the side of Georgia. It's going to be Boulder in the top here. But Mo Money, he's the fragger. He can land all the shots, but he can't land all of them. Olden will cut him down, and Boulder will take another attacking round here. A much different story compared to Villa.
Well, once again, we saw the round shake out in a very similar way. Not in the way that the round, I guess, concluded in the speed that it did, but the fact that UGA committed so much utility to a particular area and then CU-Boulder not working into that UGA strategy whatsoever. Of course, in that round, it was specifically on that blue and pillar hold, because that is not where the attackers pushed in from at all. It was a full freezer and laundry take, and a very successful one at that. That was very little utility standing between the attackers and their eventual destination. That's the problem with overcommitting to one particular extension or the other, simply because the attackers may not choose to elect to deal with that. On the contrary, maybe simply because they realized that there's that much utility, so they actively make a decision to avoid it. Of course, it could always be a coincidence that the freezer push was on the mind of CU-Boulder the entire time, and they just got lucky, but for the most part, you would assume that they took a look at what they were dealing with. They had a drone in construction looking at this odd J-bunker hold with an open barricade, and they decided, you know what, whatever shenanigans UGA are trying to pull, let's not allow them to get that going whatsoever. A full freezer push was in order. CU-Boulder took control. The monkey swinging from everybody began, and CU-Boulder eventually ended up on top of those fights.
Looking at the basement hold here, it is going to be a similar one with the Goyo holding down J-bunker again, and the Malusi trying to help facilitate that freezer hold as well. But Heckle, he's got to clear out these roamers here, or so he thinks, trying to push into master bedroom, as Juan will find himself all the way upstairs in attic. If he does not get cleared out, this could be a huge detrimental effect on the attackers here. He will impact the back stairs, though, and rotate all the way back towards meeting, as Drunken Cost is going to be prone, holding a punch hole. It's not something you see every single day here. Holding the back stairs, Arctic knows that there might be one close, as he hears the footsteps above and inside a big tower. Rotating behind stage here, looking with the Claymore to place it down, and he will, to watch the flank just a little bit. The impact grenade in hand, deciding not to impact the wall here. Instead, relegates to spraying through it. Still a 5v5 here, just under 2 minutes left to play, as Juan is trying to get a flank off here, but the Nomad's air jab in his way. Opening up the fragging here, Alexis K will find Mo Money, and that is your leading fragger now off the board from last game. Just does not seem like Georgia is on the same page as they were on the last map, as they're struggling to really hold off Boulder and their extended roam clear. Juan, he's got to retake freezer here with 1 minute and 20 seconds left to play. Trying to play on top of the hatch here. He knows that there was one close at a certain time, and now we'll get the complete drop out of the sledge and the Nomad as well. Manly Banana follows it up with Arctic on that frag as well, and all of Boulder Fall as Georgia will be able to retake what was once theirs. Freezer in their possession and the bottom of main stairs in their possession. The extended roam playing huge dividends to their entire success.
Yeah, those picks from Juan there in the end were so critical, and at the same time across the map, those picks ran out as well. Simply a good timing from UGA deciding to retake those power positions that CU-Boulder were just starting to establish. So Georgia has now found their first round success in Oregon, and they will be looking towards Kids in Dorms to be that location of that second round success. However, looking at this setup, the Pulse, the Bandit, the Clash on the board once again, I am not super confident in this hold, particularly because it did not go very well last time. The single hard breacher from CU-Boulder may once again go unpunished if Georgia employ the very same strategy that was so unsuccessful the first time around. If there's no tower push at all, then you're putting Casanova and Mo Money, two very big players with a lot of utility and game and intel to gain, on the other side of the map, on the other side of all of the action. If they rotate back to site appropriately once they realize the attack they're dealing with, then crisis averted, job well done, maybe that strategy will end up working out. But if, like last time, they overstay their welcome on the tower side where nothing is happening and CU-Boulder rush straight on into Master and into the site, then things may not go in Georgia's favor again.
I really don't understand this extended. Well, I do understand the extended hold inside of Big Tower, actually. And I think it's really just trying to deny that attic push. But you're looking at Boulder. They did not even try and contest attic last time. So I think this is a of utility and off-site pressure on the side of Georgia. They know that they're going to push better, and that should be a given here. You put the clash there, and then you should play a castle to try and make it harder for the attackers to break down those barricades easily and force them to waste utility or time trying to melee it down. Or bring a Goyo here. You brought a Goyo downstairs. Why not bring it here too? Again, area denial in this sense is the name of the game when you're trying to defend top floor here. You do not want them any control inside of attic or better. Those are crucial choke points, which are not necessarily sight, but they can help facilitate a round win. That grenade from the sledge of Alexis will net a little bit of damage onto the clash. Arctic trying to take the vertical fight on to one, sitting above in couch. Milk finds Casanova, though, for the opening frag, and that's the pulse now dead. Rotating through attic will no longer be a factor in this one. Milk inside of Trophy. Trying to dispatch of the Malusi Wubwubs. This one is trying to swing big window here, as the Toxic Babes are detonated. Drunken Cost going to find himself at 1 HP. The flashbangs are ringing out, and he's trying to use that vertical pressure to his advantage. But Arctic's going to cut him down there, as Drunken Cost will be eliminated. A 5v3 situation ensues, now a 3v4, as Milk will be eliminated, and Juan is the victor of that gunfight.
And now with 1 minute, all that remains, you're going to have this 4v3 scenario play out, but of course there's a clash in play, and that shakes things up quite a bit. Sure, you're losing a gun that is very valuable in play normally, but you also have a brick wall to contend with on this attack. Juan's going to take a bit of damage, and Arctic will solidify that kill with those final bullets, and now it is a 2v2. It's a bandit and a clash left against 4 hungry attackers. Once again, this strategy not working out too well. And with Mo Money off-site and off of the playing field, it is a 1v4 for a clash. The Pocket F2 is quite a weapon to wield, but so is the R4C. And Heckle will send Manly Banana to the grave, and CU-Boulder will take round 4. Another gift from UGA, employing the same unsuccessful strategy that did not work a few rounds ago, attempting to do it once again, and lo and behold, it was unsuccessful, and I gotta say, I am not surprised.
I'm not surprised either. You do the same thing, expecting the same results. It's just, you do the same thing, but you expect the same results without really changing anything. It's the definition of insanity, which is doing the same thing over and over again.
Nearly. You got to expect different results.
Different results. Sorry,
different
results. Yeah. I mean, I was trying to get on the same page as them, but, you know, that's the definition of insanity, and I think they could be on the verge of insanity here, trying to go back upstairs in the kids' dorms and that main hall. This time, though, I'm not seeing the pulse, and I take a deep breath, because now I can relax knowing that they should be able to hold this site correctly. Right?
Yeah, I'm hoping to see that as well. I mean, they're not going to go for the same strategy 3 times in a row, and that definitely puts a guy at ease. You're bringing out the Mute this time. You're bringing out the Maestro this time, and the Vigil. Nothing crazy in terms of the Bandit Pulse Clash combination. That has proven unsuccessful. I gotta applaud the attempt from Georgia to come up with these creative strategies. I mean, that's what's so fun about Siege. You get to create your own original strategies. Whether it's original or not, I don't know. But let's say it is. It's so fun to put those on paper, to actually employ them and see if it works. You can be an innovator at your own craft, and it is great to see. Unfortunately, at least for Georgia, that particular innovation has been unsuccessful on this top floor bomb site because CU-Boulder have been not playing into that strategy at all. But in round number 5, Alexis will be playing in at least to the sight line of Drunken Cass, and the Vigil will find their first kill of Oregon and the first kill of this map. Looking forward to getting many more. And now as we get underway in round number 5, we see CU-Boulder they will be forced to play off the back foot here after they've lost the sledge and the 2 frag grenades that the sledge is able to wield.
Did you see that? Heckle just do a frowny face with
Yeah,
his
I saw.
bullets. That's amazing. Well, I mean, that's what happens. You don't watch for the spawn peaks, and one of your teammates will be eliminated. And yes, that is a very, very sad moment for Boulder fans. But you know what's not a sad moment? We're seeing Milk. He's at the top of Armory stairs, and inside Armory, actually, trying to help Olvin facilitate this attack through Games Room wall. And Juan, though, he's below. He could be taking an engagement onto Arctic here outside a classroom window, but Arctic's going to fall all the way back to school bus. And you're looking at Juan here. He has a crucial position to play here. But Drunken Koss also has a crucial position. As the fraggers, Heckle will be eliminated after following up onto Alexis K. He finds Heckle as well. Olvin, he gets the kill onto Manly Banana and Casanova on the refrag. Milk sees the flank coming from a mile away, and Juan will be eliminated. You're looking at Arctic and Milk, the last 2 members on the attacking side, alive, looking to try and take sight. As Arctic will cut down Drunken Koss, it is a 2v2 as we hit under a minute and 17 seconds left to play.
A bomb has been located.
In a 2v2 situation now, the CU-Boulder attackers will first have to recover this diffuser that's been dropped by the fallen Olvin here in Closet, and Casanova is keeping quite an eye on. The all defines its target true and good by Milk for round number 5. It's all up to Arctic. The position is known as the red pings are there, and the push is completely known. Mo Money, the SMG-11, does its job well, and Georgia will find their 2nd defensive round win, and they will take round number 5, keeping it close, 2-3 now the scoreline. Georgia looking to go ahead and equalize 3-3. These defensive rounds are so critical, given that it will be tougher on attack, especially on CU-Boulder's map pick.
If I am Georgia right now, I am looking to try and hold Freezer as hard as I can. I know that Boulder is not going to push blue. They haven't yet, and they really haven't even touched that side of the map or Big Tower. So what, in any kind of power, would they be in a position to push blue or tower again? They're not. They are going for a freezer push. They are going to take small tower. If I am Georgia, I already know exactly what they are going to do here. You're looking at even their operator lineup. It is made for a roam clear from small tower. If I'm Georgia, I'm putting 2 people upstairs in attic, and I am going to get rid of Boulder and this small tower attack.
I think that's a fair point, Matt, and I think that's something that, Georgia are teasing the adaptation. We see almost reinforcing that rotate into blue, not opting to hold that, but already we're not going to see those deployable shields placed there. The 2 Vulcan shields have been employed elsewhere, utilized, I believe, in Pillar and on that freezer side. In addition, not in Pillar, in fact, where are these shields? Okay, so there is one over in that hallway facing laundry and one in freezer. So Matt, this change that you asked for is here. They've made the change, and now it's all about CU-Boulder if they lean in to the very same strategy that they've done so far.
Nobody is attacking from that northeast side except Arctic, and he doesn't have anybody else there to help him, so he is going to solo push this big tower here while the rest of his team is pushing through freezer and classroom and that upstairs, which inherently isn't the worst thing they could do. I'm glad they're not funneling through blue, but if you're trying to take blue, you need to have the right operators to do that, and they definitely did. Drunken Costo, he's going to find Arctic, and that is the Goyo roaming off-site inside a big tower. Kind of peculiar to have a Goyo inside of big tower, knowing that Boulder really doesn't push there, but the lone Zofia is going to be that first kill.
Yeah, Drunken Cass and Wanda Swan have both retreated over to this tower side. That early pick going in their favor. Now they're looking to retreat onto the bomb site itself. Milk will find the retaliating blow, though, and will take off Casanova, who is also on a bit of an extended roam near the top of Freezer Stairs, so it will keep things even in a 4v4 as the attackers continue to obtain map control. But these defenders are getting quite antsy. Wanda Swan has now rotated up to a very precarious position in garage. This is a do-or-die type position. If he goes unnoticed and can get a late flank more power to him. But if his spot is sussed out, he will be stuck in there and will absolutely be dead. Olvin trying to figure out where exactly these last players are. The drone is not going to enter garage though, so Juan may be able to escape his fate. Now the question is, when will he come into play? When will that aggression actually be a factor? Milk watching top of laundry stairs, not paying attention to garage. A swing at the right time here for Juan could net him the kill. Milk is going to flick, worried that there's somebody around, but going to flick towards split rather than garage. Juan is currently in a great place to make his presence felt. Milk is currently out of reach, actually, moving into meeting, but actually going to come back around. Oh my goodness. This is a ring around the rosy that neither player have won just yet, but you know that Juan is going to be an ever-present factor in this round going forward into this execute.
He's got his crosshair right on him through the wall, and he has no idea, or maybe he does. Juan will pick off Olvin, trying to get the cross on the split, but Milk is there for the refrag. Good awareness by him in that situation, but he only has 20 seconds left to play with as Drunken Cost is holding those back stairs with his life. It's going to be forced down into that fatal funnel situation. Heckle's got control of sight, and Alexis K is going to find Mo Money. Manly Banana is going to choke out Milk, though, and it's all up to Heckle and Alexis to get the diffuser planted, but there's the Malusi! It's going to clutch out the round, as they cannot get the plant down because the diffuser was in front of one of the Wub-Wubs. The round goes to Georgia, and they escape it with the skin of their teeth.
Sometimes it just is great to see a round play out like that, where it comes down to the wire and it's effective use of utility and incredibly smart micro positioning that wins the round for a team. And in that case, it was Georgia with the superior micro positioning and the proper use of utility. The diffuser was dropped at the bottom of laundry stairs. The smoke knew it, and he just focused on smoking off the diffuser over and over and over again, using the toxic babes well, utilizing the Wub-Wub and the barbed wire to their best ability. That is what netted Georgia that round, and that is what allows them to go to this second split very much in this fight. Everything is even. We're sitting at 3-3. Oregon is shaking out back and forth. None of these rounds have been more decisive than the next. They've all come down to the wire. Not to mention, just back and forth rounds have been really in the hands of both of these teams. They can all go either way. And now with CU-Boulder starting off their defensive half on this laundry and supply room site, I do expect this to go either way on this side as well. However, this is Oregon. CU-Boulder's map pick. They've got this defensive setup down. The question is, how much does Georgia play into that? How much will they avoid? And how will they structure these basement attacks?
Well, you're already looking at the lineup from Georgia. They're bringing the Zoe and the Maverick, so you know that they're going to push blue here. It's almost inevitable at this point. You have the Zofia to clear the shield, with the Twitch drone here to maybe try and clear a couple of those ADSs to maybe facilitate that push. The Maverick is there to make the holes in the wall, the Swiss cheese, and try and get control of that J bunker. It's a rush, though. Juan's going right into the deployable shield. Ill-advised as Milk will cut him down. The SMG-11 too powerful in that sense. Oh my goodness, that was a rush from him, and it didn't work.
Yeah, the first attempt there of solo pushing out the smoke despite there being a Wub-Wub on the wall. Well, an ill-advised attempt, and now UGA are clearly forced to change up their strategy a bit. They realize the utility they're dealing with. You've got Milk with ADSs, with Toxic Babes, with a Wub-Wub all supporting them. Maybe approach from elsewhere. At least Manly Banana and Mo Money will undertake that very task, attempting to work their way from this tower side. But of course, you've got a bit of this extended roam. You've got Alexis now using an impact grenade to open up a sightline on meeting, and you've got Mo Money under threat. Oh, but a beautiful shot through the wall will land the Malusi in a 6-foot grave and keep things even in a 4v4 with all these defenders now remaining on this site itself. The deployable shield meta coming into full effect. You've got Olvin and Milk both rocking that utility, but you also have Georgia, who are trying to force themselves into this site. The bullet holes from that pony wall will land Mo Money in a bit of trouble, but neither kill will find itself on the board. A minute 20 is that what remains in this round, and UGA haven't fully committed to one push or the other. We see them scrambling around, trying to determine where this attack is going to come from. The freezer wall open. Maybe it's going to be this south side take.
The south side take would definitely prove to be most beneficial to the current setup and the utility that they have left. Realistically, the drone economy on the side of Georgia is not looking so good. They only have a few left, so they don't have that much intel at their disposal. This is why we've seen a lot of teams actually try and employ Ayana, because when she's alive, her drone, or her hologram, is actually useful as an infinite drone. As long as she's alive, she is giving intel if she has that gadget up. Casanova, though, is trying to push up through box. The Malusi Wub-Wubs giving away their position, though. Casanova will cut down Arctic, but Zofia of Mo Money will be cut down by Milk. You're looking at a main stairs push from Manly Banana here as he is forcing his way down main stairs. Druggy is going to pick off Heckle here with just under 12 seconds left to play. It's the fatal funnel as the Echo will fall. A double kill for Casanova as Milk is finding himself in the 1v3 situation. A post-plant 1 could ensue here as Casanova gets that plant down completely. Drunken Cass inside a freezer looking to try and cut off the rotation from Milk here, and he will. Georgia will win the round pretty handily here as the post-plant situation and the push through freezer proved to be too much for their defense.
Yeah, UGA simply just out-adapted CU-Boulder in the middle of that round. It seemed that CU-Boulder had the upper hand at every turn. I really liked the defense they were putting forward. They had UGA's number. They stopped the blue push. The tower push wasn't there. But then UGA took a moment to step back. They realized what they were dealing with. They pivoted their setup. They worked their way in from that freezer side, and the kills, they reined in as a result. That is something that I like to touch on every time I cast, but I think Georgia just demonstrated it perfectly for us. The ability to make those adaptations on the fly, the ability to pivot your strategy directly in relation to what your opponents are throwing at you, not only in the middle of a round, but between rounds and between maps, is what separates those good teams from the better teams, from those best teams, from the team like Akron at the top of the collegiate world. Georgia displayed a bit of that Akron adaptability in round number 7, and that is why they emerged with that round in their hands. But an attacking round win in the favor of Georgia's got to be concerning for CU-Boulder, especially on their map pick, and it seems that their basement success, or lack thereof, for CU-Boulder was enough to make CU-Boulder rethink their strategy and send them upstairs to this Kids and Dorms bomb site.
Going upstairs here with the current operator lineup they have, the Mozzie to deny the drones inside of master bedroom. And I talked about the drone economy. It wasn't really a factor last time because they really just pushed in and won there once. I mean, there really wasn't all that much more to say. But now, if you're able to pre-deny those drones, such as the Mozzie, even if you don't have to repossess them and put them in spots where it'll help your defending, it's going to make it harder for the attackers to push regardless. Interesting to see a huge difference between Boulder and their defense compared to how Georgia defended this site. Is there's no pulse extended inside of Big Tower. Instead, they're going to hold it traditionally, where they reinforce it off and put the bandit charges on the wall. Swing from Heckle here outside of master bedroom with the Malusi's MP5. Could look to net themselves a kill here, but Mo Money has a lifeline in hand. Will now detonate, now push away all the way inside of master bedroom. Looking to try and contest the Malusi, but she's prone inside a trophy here. Now standing up, could swing, but Mo Money has the upper hand, literally the upper hand, as he's found himself up on the bed. The spray, though, from Heckle and the peak disadvantage. Mo Money will fall as Juan will get a frag on the Alexis and another part of the map, as the push to Attic is actually facilitated right now, as Juan has found his way all the way inside of Attic, really deep Attic, as Casanova will pick off Heckle. It's all up to Milk, Olvin, and Arctic, as the site is starting to collapse around them, and the drones are funneling out their positions. Olvin trying to take the fight onto the Ash inside of Attic. It will detonate one of the breaching charges inside of Kid Storms, but ultimately not net themselves anything. As time continues to tick down, all that Boulder can hope for now in the man advantage no longer being in their favor is for their flanker inside of Armory or playing for the Fatal Funnel.
Casanova nearly got blown sky high.
Oh.
Hello, Arctic, the wall bang onto Casanova. Good shot there, and that will keep things even in a 3v3, but Juan de Swan has something swift to say about that. Another triple kill delivered for Juan as Arctic is the last player remaining. He's on the extension, but guess what? He's got eyes on the diffuser. He'll swing on one. He'll take out Juan, still with the diffuser in his hand. He's going to be bouncing back and forth and playing this tactically. He no longer has to play the bomb site. He can play the diffuser that has been dropped on the ground by the fallen Casanova. Things are sitting in a 1v2 now. Manly Banana and Drunken Cass are going to have to play this together. They're going to have to play very coordinated. Otherwise, this could get very out of hand. The time is ticking away. The clock is not there. Have to play the time here. Play the intel, but the diffuser has been snatched, and now it's going on the ground. Drunken Cass is securing that plant. Manly Banana on the coverage, using those air jabs to lock it off as well, and now Arctic has a brutal retake situation. The gun skill is there, though, but is the micro positioning as well. He'll swing on Attic, but miss the shot, and Manly Banana will take the round for Georgia. Another attacking round win simply by outsmarting CU-Boulder at every turn.
A really good round from Georgia there. They had a perfect execute on to site. They took control of Attic rather handily, and they got the pick and pressure early. That forced the defenders to retreat, but at the same time, there's a presence being pushed inside of Master Bedroom. So you gotta hand it to Georgia. Their coordination on attack has been the #1 difference between them and Boulder. Now we're going downstairs into Laundry and Supply Room. This is a site that we can see teams switch their momentum on. And no better one to do that on than with this basement site. Being down 3-5, Boulder has a little bit of a boulder to climb here, but, you know, they still aren't out of this yet. I guess you could say they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Okay, I'll stop now. I'm sorry.
All right. Well, definitely gonna, throw that in there for some spice, Matt, but that is all right. CU-Boulder definitely, like you said, they've got a lot of work to do here. The momentum is firmly in the grasp of Georgia, and despite our expectations being that CU-Boulder would come out on defense strong, UGA has had something swiftly to say about that. They have come here with a quick response. They have taken 2 rounds in a row, and they are on pace to continue to run away with Oregon if CU-Boulder don't make some major changes. We're going to see this basement bomb site go down, and we're not going to see any changes, at least for the time being. You've got your Echo, your same lineup. You're going to have this extended roam just a little bit with Alexis. At least Alexis' positioning is a little bit different. Last time, I believe it was a meeting room presence rather than this top floor, but we could very well see the Malusi go for that retreat eventually and rotate back down to that meeting room position. But once again, the blue push is going to come on through, and Juan de Swan doesn't seem to care about that. The Echo is going to be cut down. I have no idea how you're going to lose an Echo and probably the most default anchor of all time so early on in the round, but without Ulvin, without that plant denial, it's going to be even harder for this CU-Boulder defense. Milk is going to swing right on up, but the angle from Heckle will send Drunken Cass to the grave, who is trying to push into blue. The roam clear not going down quite yet. Alexis still has free control of this top floor, and after that kill onto that Ash pushing in from blue, looks like the blue pressure is once again scared off a little bit, and Manly Banana will focus on droning in the team rather than on that blue push. The roam clear now completed as Mo Money will take down Alexis and remove the Malusi.
A 3v4 situation with 1 minute and 35 seconds left to play is not a bad one to be in as the defender. Time has been wasted, but you know who has been wasted? Heckle. He'll be eliminated from Mo Money, and now you're looking at a huge advantage for the attackers, now being even more advantageous as Mo Money will find a third onto Milk, solve the Arctic and the Cade inside of Freezer. The plant's got to come down from Casanova pretty soon, and he'll get that down as Arctic is still inside of Freezer. Not able to make any headway here. Swan's going to be holding Pillar, and the crossfire is a little bit too established here. Does look like things are going to be wrapping up here for Boulder here, and we could be headed to match point. but still, it's not impossible. Well, it's impossible now as the nade's going to bring out. They know his position, and he will most likely be pre-fire, but no, will be pre-fire with Spawn. A beautiful shot from Arctic here will land onto him. Time's ticking down, though, and that diffuser is planted. It has a ticking fuse as Arctic looking to try and retake Pillar here. There's somebody at the hatch, though. He's got to rotate through E-Box. The shots from the Cade will not ring out as Casanova will find the kill. Attackers will win another round here, and we hit match point.
Yeah, UGA cannot seem to be stopped by whatever CU-Boulder are throwing at them. Once again, CU-Boulder are staring in the face of a blatant issue. The lack of adaptability is apparent. They're not changing up their strategy. It's the same thing, and the same results are happening time and time again. That was the same basement setup that was unsuccessful, and UGA took the round handily. Now, going ahead to basement for the third time, I want to say we know we're going to see a change. Normally in this situation, I would say if they're going to this site, we know for a fact they're going to change up something. Whether it's the micro positioning or the macro strategy, there's going to be a change. However, CU-Boulder have changed that expectation a little bit. You know, you're bringing your pretty much, this is the identical lineup. I think it is with all those operators on the same roles, I believe. So maybe the setup will be different. Maybe that is going to be the breath of fresh air for CU-Boulder that they're going to employ. Matt?
They need to keep the Echo alive. If they don't keep the Echo alive and he dies early again, that's going to be the defining factor for Boulder here, and it could spell doom for them. So you keep the Echo alive, put him closer to site, and maybe his utility will be a little bit more useful, because when you lose an operator that early, who's so integral to the success in the final minutes of the round, it can absolutely kill you.
It can. It totally can. And Ulven, I literally have no idea where he was when, or where the Echo was when he got taken down so early on in that previous round, but it seems retreating down to Laundry that positioning will not be a factor. Arctic will be a factor. He's going to be lurking up in Kids, and a roaming Kaid, not the most typical of roles that a Kaid would be playing. However, this roam clear is once again going to go down, and it will have to be clean and tidy because Arctic is tucked away in a corner. One slight missed drone, and Arctic could find himself a kill or two, but with that drone rolling on through, the position of the Kaid is known. And now the spray through the wall will actually nearly find its target, but it's Heckle who finds one first. Juan de Swan will be cut down, and Mo Money will be unable to catch the Kaid before the Kaid made a quick escape. So things will be sitting now Boulder on the front foot, you could say, for the very first time on their defensive half. Now all that is left is play the trade game, fall back to site, make sure no attackers can get a free 1v1 opportunity, and you'll take a round.
You're looking at a pretty extensive roam clear from Georgia this time. But Heckle, he's trying to get a little bit aggressive here. At the top of Laundry Stairs, he will not be able to get a kill. But Cade will be eliminated. Drunken Cos will pick him off as he was bleeding out on the bottom of the kitchen floor. Minute and 20 seconds left to play. Still have to worry about clearing out the rest of the roamers, and it looks like they're doing that pretty well. Nomad setting up the air jabs to watch for the flanks here, as we're seeing the attackers take control of Big Tower and meeting. All four members, the remaining ones of Boulder, are sitting inside of sight. They're playing for the fatal funnel here, and that's exactly what they need to do. As time is ticking down, Casanova's pushing down main stairs. Knows that there's a Malusi, Wub's close, and will be looking to try and get rid of it here. Pinging it out to his teammate, where Drunken Cos can come over and potentially get rid of it. They get rid of that, and then the Hard Breacher hopefully doesn't rush here, but, you know, it could definitely happen as he's pushed his way all the way down main stairs, playing on Laundry Storage, but he'll get pre-fired. Ulven will find the kill, and now has to play for those Echo drones. Time is continuing to tick down, though, and the attacker is facing a 3v4 deficit. As Manly Banana's pushing up through Freezer. Drunken Cos will be eliminated, though, and now He is down. Heckle's gonna swing out and not find a kill as Georgia is on the back foot. As Milk will finally eliminate Drunken Cost. Manly Banana is going to go down, though, as Olvin looking to try and capitalize, and he will. The angle from inside of Laundry, not a factor. Boulder will retaliate with a round of their own.
Well, we were skeptical of the change that CU-Boulder were going to bring, but they made us eat our words there. They had a much heavier extended roam presence, including the Kaid of Arctic, an interesting choice, but one that ended up working out. Of course, the Kaid eventually found the grave, but if you think about how valuable that play was, it wasted so much time off the clock, and time was simply the problem for that attack. They did not have enough seconds left on that clock to gain the intel before the eventual push in Freezer. They kind of sent it in there one at a time. There was a wub that hadn't been dealt with on the Freezer side that was simply too challenging to overcome. So the first time we've seen CU-Boulder, big brain, at least bigger brain, UGA here, outplaying them with simple decision making rather than gun skill, which has been their focus of this series so far. But nonetheless, Georgia remains with match point on the horizon. 2 in a row now is what CU-Boulder are going to have to pull off, and they are going to have to start to do that on this Kids and Dorms bomb site, another site that they have struggled to lock down for the most part. Heckle changing from that from the Jaeger over to the Malusi, but once again, I do expect to see both Heckle and Alexis playing somewhat of that extension, because as they discovered just one round ago, that very extension can delay the time off the clock and can make it even harder for Georgia to push into the site when it matters. And so now, CU-Boulder, once again, like I said, 2 rounds are required. They are now fighting for their tournament lives here, and they are nearly there, but 2 rounds stand between them and a much-needed overtime performance.
That overtime performance is going to need to be put on the back burner right now, because the main focus is going to be winning this next round and the round after that. It's definitely not out of the equation for Boulder here. Oregon is inherently a defender-sided map. So, looking at the setup here, it's going to be an attic push from Georgia. Alexis is going to be spraying with the Jaeger here as the wall is made completely soft of attic, allowing the Zofia to most likely impact it here, or in this case, the Ash will be able to Ash charge it. But it actually looks like Juan is going for the full Maverick of the wall here. Not something we see all that often, but, you know, Ash totally doesn't have 3 breaching rounds instead of 2 now, so she doesn't have to waste it. But now, you have to be careful. But Drunken Cost, he's not going to be too careful here, as Alexis will be cut down, the Jaeger and the Ash fight off, but the Jaeger will be the one eliminated from that one, as the push from Master Bedroom now needs to be facilitated, as the attic control is starting to slowly become in favor of Georgia. Things from Boulder here are looking a little bit more dire as they're losing their attic pressure. Milk, he's going to swing out by big window here, maybe a little bit ill-advised, because if he dies here, the big window presence will be in favor of Georgia, and then the round will deteriorate from there, as Arctic will pick off more money, and Heckle will follow on a Casanova, as the attackers are finally put on the back foot here and stop dead in their tracks.
Yeah, the brilliant pressure from CU-Boulder in these last 2 gunfights have been huge, and not only have they clawed their way back in this round, but they could have very well clawed their way back in this series. But 3 hungry attackers remain, Juan de Swan included, who has 10 kills to his name thus far, and now isn't content on working his way up these white stairs. Gonna deal with that barbed wire, but Heckle is gonna deal with Manly Banana. A double kill for the Malusi, and now CU-Boulder are even further on this lead. A nade from below will not find his target. It will, in fact, as Milk hits the floor, keeping this more manageable at least, as now Juan challenging directly onto the player on the top of white stairs, but Arctic has a flank. Drunken Cass has 1, has 2, it's a 1v1, but Olvin prevails at the last moment. CU-Boulder will hold on for just 1 more round. They take round 11. Only 1 more round stands between them and overtime.
It's definitely looking to be the case that we could be headed to overtime, but all 12 rounds are going to need to be played here in regulation before we head to potentially OT, as it will be kitchen and dining. This is the first kitchen dining that we've seen for this map here, and it could be very telling to see if Boulder can come back from this, or will Georgia walk away with the win?
Well, this attacking success that has looked so good, at least in their first half of this second split, has not continued with them to the second half. It went 3-3 on our first side of the coin, and it looking like it very well could go the same direction unless Georgia can pull out their earlier attacking magic. Manly Banana hoping the Jackal can do that. Ulvin switching over to the smoke from the Echo, so we're finally not going to see the Yokai drones come in play. I'm not exactly sure how helpful the Echo has been. We haven't really been looking at Echo, so we don't know how much intel is actually being gained. But what we do know for certain, as there haven't been many plants denied simply by those Yokai drones. But one thing to note additionally, Matt, is because 2 rounds were taken from CU-Boulder in a row, that means the only 2 bomb sites remaining are the tertiary and quaternary bomb sites. That's kitchen and dining and kitchen and meeting, whichever you think is the proper tertiary bomb site. There is a debate in the community. However, it does seem that CU-Boulder prefer this dining site. What characterizes this dining site more than others is the shower's presence. Kitchen is always the same, though vertical control is essential, as is security. But showers is what dining is all about. Normally, at least at the highest levels of Siege, you reinforce only one of the showers to small tower walls. You use the other wall with those footholes to impact trick that wall and use showers as an ultimate power position. Maybe you put a maestro on that role to lock down the site. Does not appear that CU-Boulder will be implementing that strategy, going for a full showers hold by reinforcing it and using the Electro Claw that Arctic is now wielding. But the first thing on the checklist for Georgia is this top-down clear. Remove Heckle, remove Alexis from this extension, and converging from Attic and converging from Master. That is UGA's plan.
They need to take top 4 control. If Georgia doesn't do that, Boulder will definitely be able to hold off here. They do have the fortifications from the castle and the Malusi above, as Heckle is going to fall all the way back. Maybe looking for a flank here, as it is a full east to west clear here for Georgia, as Alexis K is alone upstairs, but has Olvin below, playing vertical, and the potential flank from the Jaeger. As Heckle, he'll pick off more money. That is the Zofia now dead. A huge frag here, as the momentum certainly shifts in favor of Boulder here, with the 5-4 man advantage. Alexis K has to get 1 pick here, or waste the time. Heckle is definitely playing for the refrag, and there's that kill I talked about. Drunken Cast will be eliminated. The Nitro cells to bring out on the big window, try and detonate and kill Juan here, but cannot. Alexis K in a very precarious situation here, and most likely will die. But it's how many kills or how much time you can waste in this situation. Not a lot, apparently, as the frag grenade will connect onto Alexis K, and the Jaeger will be down as a result. Sledging the bottom of the floor here is the Sledge, looking to try and get the shots off, as Juan will finally finish off Heckle. Now what was a 5v3 turns into a 3v3, as Boulder looked to hold on by just a little bit. Juan has something else to say about that, as Olvin will be eliminated. A 3rd kill for him on the round, looking to try and get a 4th here. Playing on the hatch is Arctic, looking to try and breach in the meeting is the Thermite. He'll get that open, and now positions are compromised on the defending side. Arctic, though, not going down without a fight. Juan will be eliminated, and Manly Banana's got to push up. Arctic's going to find a 2nd and a 3rd. Boulder close out that round and push to overtime.
Well, a good defense there and a good locking down of that site by Arctic. A double kill in the closing seconds to single-handedly take CU-Boulder over to round number 13. We are guaranteed to see at least those 14 rounds in this overtime period. But what characterized that CU-Boulder defense that just was so strong was the vertical pressure that UGA could not deal with. 2 frags rained out on the scoreboard before the vertical pressure was completely surrendered. Of course, losing Heckle and Alexis at the end of that engagement was frustrating, probably for CU-Boulder, but it didn't matter. The time was expended. Juan found a triple kill on the side of Georgia, but could not find more, and Alexis answered back in a huge way. And so now, sitting in overtime, Georgia on attack. Really, the side doesn't matter here, because it seems that CU-Boulder they can win 3 on defense. They can also win 3 on attack, and that's the same thing for Georgia. The only thing that does matter, though, is the momentum. CU-Boulder took 3 defensive rounds in a row, and now they are looking for their 4th. Georgia's last 3 attacking rounds haven't looked all that clean. They're lacking the characteristic intelligence of their attacks, the crossfires to establish something that CU-Boulder have done a great job so far in these last 3 rounds at preventing. Unfortunately, that was those impact grenades are now being used to open those rotates from Heckle, who is once again returned to the Malusi, back and forth. Heckle and Alexis just switching back between these 2 very frag-heavy operators, but it is in fact Arctic and Milk who are actually out-fragging those flex frag teammates. So interesting development though, but this round we'll be focusing on this Kids and Dorms site, the one that has gone both ways, and Juan Deswan will once again already be opening up that attic wall and getting this Maverick trick going.
You're looking at a team who is ready to make this comeback. They've won 3 straight defensive rounds. Just when everybody was thinking about counting them down, they stuck it to and they're looking poised and ready to strike. Again, the Maverick going for the full Maverick on the wall here with the torch, not opting for the Ash and her charges here. Guess maybe trying to save them in this situation, which isn't a terrible decision, but, you know, it definitely wastes a little bit of time here. Alexis K holding inside of attic again. Shoots out the drone, knows that they are pushing from attic side. Should be looking to try and test bedroom here, as Georgia is taking a more slower approach here. Manly Banana, though, he is inside of Armory, and Mo Money is below the master bedroom wall, inside of classroom. Juan, though, he's got a nade. He'll send it sky high as Alexis will find an early grave. First kill now in favor of Georgia, as their lackluster attack starts to mount a little bit of momentum with that grenade kill.
And there's Mo Money from below to take down Heckle, and now I would say the CU-Boulder defensive momentum has stalled out tremendously. Only 3 of them remain. Those 2 big fragging operators, Heckle and Alexis, are gone, but Arctic and Milk, really been putting on the weight of this team on their shoulders, are still alive. But Juan Deswan making a double kill happen and making me eat my words there. Oven and Arctic, the last to remain. Oven on the swing, finds one but can't find the second. One is taken down. Drunken Cass and Mo Money will wrap things up for Georgia, and round 13 was taken in a decisive manner. The first round of overtime, this time in the attackers' favor.
They needed to make a statement there and shut down Boulder and their defense with their momentum. So a really good job to Georgia here. Now they go back to defense. They haven't been on defense in a few rounds. Well, a little bit more than a few rounds. So they could be looking to try and shift things up here. Definitely looks like they are. They're going kitchen and dining here. Not opting for bedroom. Not opting for basement. No, they're going for kitchen and dining. The tertiary bomb site here, which inherently isn't a terrible idea, knowing that they were trading rounds back and forth on defense between that top floor and that basement site. So looking at kitchen and dining here, it's a fresh start, and it could prove to be very beneficial. Know what's interesting here? The potential Ella pick, and yes, the Ella will stick here from the Goyo. We don't see Ella played all that often in competitive, and I think that just comes down to the fact that her Scorpion is a little bit unwieldy when it comes to trying to take engagements here. Her gadget, while yes, it is pretty influential on a few rounds, it almost serves more as is intel, where you can still win a fight even under concussion. It does mess with your hearing a little bit, but it's not as influential as when it actually messed with your ADS. Do you remember, Jay-Z, when they had the Ella mines and they messed with your sensitivity?
Oh yeah,
it was awful.
It was all crazy, but they have made a slight change, it seems, to the Ella mines recently, and they've become even more powerful. I think they have this full flash effect when you initially get tagged by them. I know people in the community weren't so happy about that, but so it could be a factor in this round. Maybe that's why Drunken Cass is bringing it out, but moreover, you're bringing that deployable shield. And on Oregon, especially on this is the tertiary bomb site we're actually going to see here, those deployable shields can be so essential, and bringing as many operators as possible while still bringing a gun, the Scorpion, definitely a powerful weapon to say the least, definitely is a good choice for Drunken Cass.
I mean, you're looking at operators between these two sides that could easily clash when they come down to these 1v1s. You're seeing that extended top floor hold from Georgia as Heckle is attempting to clear from Big Window. Surrendering Big Window when you're playing upstairs is probably one of the biggest things that you could do to really cause your team to falter. We'll see Milk, he'll get picked off early as that's the Nomad and that flanking potential now completely irrelevant as I don't think she got any of her air jabs out.
Yeah, you've lost so much utility potential, and now the flanking ability of this UGA defense is going to be even stronger. But thankfully, it's this tertiary bomb site, a harder site to flank on. Alexis going to get on his drone in the middle of this window, providing an ample opportunity to get capitalized on. Arctic is going to be the one to fall. Heckle, though, a swift response onto the Ella of Drunken Cass. Alexis follows that up onto Casanova. The kill from the big window is found. So all of a sudden, things are back even after UGA. Well, they sort of overstayed their welcome on that top floor. Mo Money needs to be careful not to fall victim to the very same mistake. It's good to hold this top floor, but for too long and for too much of that utility on the attacker burned, maybe it's safer to just rotate back to the site and play with your team. The 416 is often a weapon used by Jaeger for that roam, but it is equally useful of a weapon to have in an aggressive situation on site, just as I dictated it would happen. Heckle will make that point rain on true as Mo Money will no longer be a factor. 2v3 is what remains in this overtime match point round. Manly Banana and Juan de Swan have to lock it all out. But Juan de Swan is tempting to get aggressive here, working his way up these white stairs. Alexis challenging on Manly Banana, getting a couple of shots dealt by the Alda, but it's Juan de Swan. No way he just did that. He walks right up white stairs. Double kill with the SMG-11. Heckle is left alone in a 1v2, a tremendously big brain maneuver from the smoke, and now Heckle is caught in the crossfire. Manly Banana makes it happen. Georgia finished things off on Oregon in round 14. It came down to the wire, but UGA got it done.
Wow, what a match between the what a match between these two teams. They definitely had it out for each other, putting themselves in probably a couple of the better situations that we've seen. They did a really good job. Overall, both teams played really, really good, but it is going to be Georgia coming out on top. You gotta give it to Boulder there. Though, they came back and they really put it to Georgia there. They showed that they could play with them, and they did it in a way where it really was entertaining to watch. But at the end, Boulder got rocked. I'm sorry, I had to do it.
It's okay. You can throw it in there now and again. But really, I do think what we saw all night was Boulder trying to match the smart stratting and the smart play that Juan de Swan and this UGA team brought to the forefront. I'm not going to undercut the strength that CU-Boulder showed. They had very competent gun skill. They made a couple of good adaptations here and there, but I do think the smarter team did win this matchup. UGA, they made more changes on the fly. They really simply outstratted and outplayed CU-Boulder when it all relied on gun skill. When it all came down to those crucial moments, I do think CU-Boulder ended up taking an edge. But as an overall series shakes out, a best of 3 is going to find all of those weaknesses. You cannot hide from a particular part of your strategy or your gameplay that just is not lacking. And as now Matt disappears into the world of non-existence here, I mean,
hold on.
is there something that you think particularly stood out over anything else that CU-Boulder struggled with or that UGA really shined?
Well, I'm having a couple of issues with my camera, but I do have to give it to Boulder. They had probably a couple of the better defensive rounds over Georgia, and they were in a really better position to take a lot more gunfights, in my opinion. They had the fragging potential, they had a lot of the operator compositions that we've seen, but overall, what really plagued them was their lack of roaming potential. At the end of the day, when you roam, you need to have that off-site pressure in order to make the attackers put into a better situation. And that was something that we saw Georgia do. They had a really good offsite pressure. They were able to retake site pretty handily.
All right, a fair point, and one that I think, well, Georgia will be moving ahead now with the information that you've given them here that they've conquered this particular strategy from CU-Boulder. They know what they can deal with and what they can. And just like that, we are going to welcome Manly Banana to the booth, or UGA Victors. Manly, first of all, congratulations on your victory. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. It was a great win. It's been a while since we've played competitively in an actual game, but I think we played pretty well considering the kind of the rust that we've had the past couple weeks. But we've got back the swing of things, and we've just played really well tonight. I'm really proud of my guys.
All right, well, Matt, what kind of questions you've got for him? All right, Matt has now vaporized into existence, so I'll take it
No,
away,
no,
Manly Banana.
I'm
Okay,
here. I'm here. I'm
okay.
here. Okay. Sorry. What was the question? I was trying to get my camera working. I apologize.
No worries. I'll leave with this interview. Manly Banana, I have a couple questions. So obviously you are the captain, and I do want to know, so who is that primary strat caller or that person in comms really making those overall decisions? Is that you or is that somebody else?
So it's kind of a combination of Casanova, Juan, and I. So Juan, he writes a lot of attack strats. He writes a lot of defense strats. So we typically work a lot of what he's done. Then me or Kazra, we kind of tweak them, or
Hmm.
Casanova kind of tweak them. Then it kind of depends. In the beginning, it's kind of whoever has the drone that can tell us who's got the read.
Hmm.
We all know that we can all make good decisions. So it's all about figuring out who's got the information and who can act on it quickly. Juan really likes pushing quickly, so Juan calls lots of rushes. Casanova also does a couple rushes. I sometimes call mid-round stuff. I do a lot of very specific things, so I need this done, I need that done. We need to
Hmm.
do this, we need this phase now. So it's kind of a balance between all three of us in different ways. We complement each other, I think, really well. And a lot of really good teams have those kinds of primary, secondary, tertiary IGLs. If you look at almost any game like Counter Strike or like Dota and things like that.
Sure. Well, the reason I bring that up is I do want to ask about one specific strategy. And I think you may already know what I'm about to ask about, but I want to talk about your defensive hold on Oregon, your kids and dorms site hold, where you bring the Clash as one operator to elect to defend that master side, and you put Bandit and Pulse holding down tower. I know that didn't work because CU-Boulder just never attacked tower side whatsoever, but what is the thought process behind that strategy and why didn't it work out in the way that you'd planned?
So that strat is mostly we usually have a really good T3 player and I am throwing. So
Mhm,
he just kind of sits in T3 and fries people. Most teams I think Collegiate don't really push attic as much as from what I've seen. We do see it a lot in T3 from teams we scrim.
mhm,
So usually if he fries people, if that doesn't work, then we usually try to contest highway window from satellite window from Big Tower, but we had a little bit of rust, so we weren't on the communication between the Clash, the Malusi was supposed to be with me, and then the two guys in the Big Tower. So it's kind of it was kind of a little rusty, so it didn't work as well. But I think we can fine tune it, and we have some other things as well that we like to bring out. But I think for that, yeah, it was mostly a contesting highway window, contesting Big Tower, and then
sure.
basically not letting them get into sight.
All right. Well, Matt, what kind of questions you got for him?
So when I was watching you guys on Villa, between the two teams, between Georgia and Boulder, you guys had a pretty standard hold when you were playing inside a trophy and statue. You extended inside an aviator, and then when you were inside aviator in games, you extended into trophy and statue. When you guys came across that on Boulder, they didn't do that at all. They had a slight extension inside a trophy where they had people in there, but they didn't have really any reinforcements or utility in that sense. Was that something you were almost expecting? Because me watching that, I'm like, okay, wow, they didn't really have a lot of presence inside a trophy, so we can easily take 90 if we kill the guy in trophy, or if we repel outside the window, cut off his angle. Was that something you were almost expecting from them, or were you expecting more of a utility, you know, utility reinforced trophy statue?
Well, I think the meta right now is kind of in its infant phase since the new patch kind of changed little things. But we've played Boulder before. We still had our notes from not only from games prior, but games during CU-6 winter that we watched, and from the game we played against them. So we kind of knew, how they were going to play more or less. Obviously, it's kind of hard to teach an old dog new tricks, and a lot of collegiate teams are old dogs. So we figured that they weren't going to contest trophy a lot, so we were going to do our same, kind of a master push and take in and try to plant vault side. Sometimes it worked, depending on again some of the rust that we've been having, just trying to figure out new things with the new meta. But yeah, we were expecting there to not be a ton of resistance when we were taking map control, and I think that worked out for us in most rounds. I think as a whole throughout the game.
Well,
Alrighty.
yeah, overall, that, definitely answers the question there, Matt. And I guess we'll wrap this up here. I mean, you gave a swift victory, so we'll keep it a quick interview as well. I'll pass the mic to you now as the captain of your team. Is there anybody you want to shout out, whether on your team, your opponent's team, the viewers, your supporters? The mic is yours.
I'd like to thank all the guys that came out to watch us. Thank our players for playing really well. I think they overcome a lot in terms of rust and not playing as well. And then someone's walking to my room to spook me, I guess. Hello, Zach. Please stop. Okay, and sorry, that was my roommate. Plays on the B team also. Yeah, I would just thank everyone for watching, and we hope to bring you a nice show next week as we take on most likely the Akron or the winner of
Yep, it
the
will be
game.
accurate. So good luck against the gods of collegiate seeds next week. And once again, congratulations on your victory.
Thank you, thank you. I'll see you
All
next
right,
week.
have a great night.
You too.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been quite a series between Georgia and CU-Boulder, but the better team prevailed, and that better team was UGA. The fourth seed will be moving on to the semifinals next week against Akron. On the other side of the bracket, Illinois State won against Purdue, and they will be taking on Texas Tech, who narrowly squeaked out a victory against Michigan Tech in a contested series. Our semifinals are going to be absolutely insane. Maybe Georgia can finally be the team to beat Akron. We'll have to see it all unfold next week. But until then, we want to thank you all for tuning in. For myself, Jays Wills, for Matt in the booth, and for Tango Mango down on the Observer and on the producing sticks tonight. Thank you all for tuning in, and we hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend. So long.
We stay when the music plays. Let's drop it low and the people
Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through?